What if we should update our humanized AT like little floaty thing? I should probably look into that. So for those of you who don't listen to our podcast, the humanized IT is kind of like the flavor of the podcast, all about having better, more human conversations, and it's the theme of pretty much everything we do with MSPL. So our managed services platform. So when you see the dashboard, when you see us talking here, when you watch our podcast, it all comes down to creating a more human experience and engaging more. So today, though, I'm going to kind of go in the opposite direction, and we're going to talk tactics. Skip's
Awesome.
favorite thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. So if you're not familiar with the dividing line between strategy and tactics, strategy is forethought. It's looking down the road and looking at a big picture. So when you play chess, you have all these pieces in front of you, and the better you get at the game, the more moves ahead you can think. And it's all about looking at your opponent and figuring out how many moves are they going to make, how many moves are you going to make. So a really good chess player can think like 20 moves ahead. The tactics are in the moment, like where can you move a piece? So you can move a knight here, you can move a rook here, you can move, your queen here. And those are your tactics. That's how you're moving this way and that. And so when you're playing with your MSP or playing in a different game or anything like that, you got to think of like, where are you going as a big picture? That's your strategy. And then how are you moving the pieces around? And that's your tactical stuff. Most of us in IT spend all of our time in tactics. How do we replace an asset? Is the asset under warranty? Is an asset needing more support? Does it need to upgrade it? Do we need to replace it with a different asset? Strategy says, what kind of assets do we need? Should we be using PCs, or should we be moving to laptops? Should we be moving to virtual desktops? And how is that going to augment business workflow? That's strategy. Tactics is, how do I take care of it once it's in place? So there is something that is in MS or managed services platform that I don't spend much time with, because Skip and I don't have any assets. No valuable assets.
Liquid or otherwise.
I think I need to reword that phrase. We have assets, very valuable ones, and we're good, but we don't run an MSP's inventory. So this idea doesn't come up very often. And how do you manage assets? And we've willfully kind of made this something that we don't do at managed services platform, is manage assets. But back in February, we changed that. We do allow for asset management in managed services platform, but it's never been a focus because we are a strategic platform. And so let me show you where we are on asset management, how you can use it currently. And then I would like to solicit feedback and what potentially could we do when it comes, now that you guys have seen the dashboard and you've seen how it works. How would this look operationally? How would this look tactically? So you have a strategic dashboard. What if there was a tactical dashboard? So with that, I'm going to share my screen, I think. Let's do that. Let's do the fancy. And move over to my desktop. So, all right. So if you guys want to know how to do what I'm doing right now, I'm happy to teach you. Everybody always asks, like, how the heck is he doing that? My goal when I present is to keep myself in front of clients. And so, when I pull up a dashboard, here we are. You can see how the dashboard looks. Now we've been playing around with some things, so it's incomplete right now. But when you come down to your client, so in our case, Joe's Trucks, and you think, hey, I've got all these assets with the client. I'd like to be able to see them or tie them to projects, or I would like to do a series of things with them. How do I do that? And so the answer is, if you look in your portal, you'll see assets for a customer. Now you can manually add assets, and that's a pain.
I must have done that one.
A pain. You can make Skip do it or something. What do you say, Skip?
I must have added that one because it says a crappy
Yeah,
EMC.
When I went to set up this example today, I did laugh to myself pretty hard because I was like, crappy EMC sand. Oh, must be Skip. So I left it there. Crappy EMC sand, $2,000. So that would be a crappy sand. I can get a J.
Well, it's an EMC, so you know.
Oh. So anyways, we have this manually created one and it's tied to a project. Well, how did we get there? Well, something else we can do is you can upload an asset list. So if you export an asset list from ConnectWise, Autotask, ScalePad, and you can do any of those, and you can import all of your assets into Managed Services Platform. If you need to know more, there's a great article here that Danish put together. This is very, very up to date. So everything here is very relevant for you. There's even example imports, which I will use today. So if you come through this and you add this in, I'm going to walk you through it today and what we're looking at doing as well. So the ConnectWise example import, which I already have, is ready to go. I just need to go back to my asset inventory. I can choose a file. And I have it right here. I got it ready this morning. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. I moved it to the desktop. There we go. ConnectWise, example import. Ooh, that would have been ugly. You could have seen what happens when you have a data set mismatch, which none of us have seen before. So two client assets, two client assets with errors, and it gives you a breakdown of what's going on here. Ta-da. So did I delete this? Okay, let's do a different one then. CSV.csv, nice.
That'll go over without any problems.
So you can see here we have these two assets that I'm importing. And again, I'm new to this, so I never have to do this. We just add them in when we feel like adding them in. So I go to my downloads where I grabbed this import. I wonder if it doesn't like the fact that you've already got one in there. So let's go ahead and clean that out. Your crappy EMC sand.
Yeah, get rid of that thing.
Get rid of that crappy EMC sand.
I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think it's having another problem here.
Line 1 is not in the list. Line 2 is not in the list. Well, anyways, this has been a great demo. So I thank you all. What happens when you have a software account that you just have all this stuff you're jacking around with, and you're trying to do clever things. So let's just populate a couple in here just real quick. So crappy. Skip did this. Twice. Man, what kind of? I'm gonna put $5,000 because man, what kind of sand is 2,000? Maybe I'm out of the game, but when I bought sands, they weren't $2,000. I might have been able to get a shell going for $2,000.
That's what I'm saying. It's crappy, and you know,
it has no discs in it.
Well, partly it's EMC, and that's just the nature of the game. So.
There we go. All right. So your crappy EMC sand is now back in the list. And if Skip wants to add a few more into the assets, he can. But what we have here is when you do the CSV import, not on a demo account, on your actual account, you'll see that it brings in a whole list. You'll see like 200-300 of these, or whatever you have per client. And you can assign your warranty to them. You can assign any project you're working on. So for instance, if you're bidding out a project and you're saying, hey, I need a SAN, I need 16 laptops to attach to this, I need a fiber switch to put on the back end, you can tie them all together and put them into a project. So I'm not doing anything here. I'm just kind of like filtering around, and you can add the warranties in. So your warranty can be in the CSV. Hopefully you have set up your warranties in ConnectWise and AutoTask, and it will pre-populate here. So strategically, there's not much value to this list. It doesn't help us decide the direction for a company. It doesn't help us solve a major business problem for your client. What it does, though, is it allows you to create a tactical look at your client. So maybe you can look and see how many storage devices are going to be out of warranty over the next few weeks or the next year. And then you can then go over to a project proposal and you can tie some assets to this project proposal.
Well, we can also tie them in from the project roadmaps as well. So that does give us a little bit of, while we're dealing with a project, we can list assets that are associated with it. So, if we want to, provide a little more context to that project discussion, then those assets will follow along during those discussions.
Yes. And so like if you notice in your dashboard, you have enable 20% sales growth. And if you hover over it, you'll see 0 assets belong to this project.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you manage your asset inventory in Managed Services Platform, you can tie those assets to this project. So somebody can say, hey, this project is going to upgrade 3 or 4 objects. So 3 or 4 assets. So have your firewall on there. Your firewall replacement is going to cost $2,600. You know that the SAN replacement is going to cost $5,000 because you're going to move to OneDrive or something. I don't know. But you tie the assets to it and you add context. And so you already have all this stuff in ConnectWise. You have it in AutoTask and it works great there. But what I'm hearing from feedback from a lot of you is that ConnectWise and AutoTask don't do a great job of contextualizing assets. That there's a reason why there's a bunch of other competing softwares out there that say, hey, we will contextualize your assets for you. And they're going to give you a tactical overview. Like if you replace this, it's going to cost this. Over the next 18 months, you have 60 assets that are going to expire. These are things that are useful to know to help you make tactical decisions within your teams. Like, oof, we really need to stagger the PC rollouts within this organization. Doing a complete PC refresh over 1 month really disrupts a company. So let's stagger these a little bit. We can tell that we are going to have a firewall that needs to be replaced, and you can do all these tactical things. These aren't big money makers for most of you because they're warranty replacements. It's whatever your margin is on that firewall. And it doesn't really paint a picture of differentiating you because everybody can replace a firewall. Everybody's going to have similar margins. Everybody's going to do this in a similar fashion. So what we focus on at Managed Services Platform is how and why are you replacing the firewall? Is there a better thing that you can do to help the client? So maybe next time you need to do HA. I just watched speaking of which, I just watched Free Guy last night for the first time. And for anybody who's seen that movie, they did a horrible job of designing that data center because the guy's going through and he's smashing a couple of servers and is taking things down. I'm like, where's your redundancy? There was no strategy in how that data center is put together. So I'm sitting there like, I'm enjoying the movie, and all of a sudden they get into this data center and I'm like, that's not how it works. And now I feel bad for all my medical professional friends who watch movies and are like, no, you can't start something. Anyways, so I'm sitting there just judging the movie harshly. And it got me thinking like, man, no one provided any strategy. That's a well-designed data center. All the cables were done in order. everything was pretty, all the servers are lined up, the server room was clean, but one smashed server takes down your network or portions of your code. Like that's some pretty poor planning there. And that kind of got me thinking about the difference between strategy and tactics. Tactically, it was a great data center. Strategically, it did not help the client at all. One spilled cup of coffee, you're done. So when it comes to our software and when it comes to assets, it's great that we manage assets. It's fantastic, but don't talk to your clients about it. Talk to your clients about this, but keep them in context by tying them to projects. Tie them here so that you can say, hey, by the way, when we do this mobile device management project, it's going to affect all your mobile devices. So here we would want to attach all mobile devices. How many mobile devices are we managing at the company? And tie them here. For smaller clients, this is only going to be like 20 or so. You got your phones, you've got your iPads, you've got your any kind of mobile payment devices you have. For larger clients, this is a mess. As a guy who managed mobile devices in the past, this is a mess. But at least you can create a project tied to this, or a proposal tied to this, so you can tell your client how much they have to order. Like this is going to cost over the period of 2 years, $30,000. Now we can divide it up over 2 years. We can do it in 1 quarter. What would you like to do? That's still a tactical conversation. The strategic conversation there would be, do we even want to do this? Is this going to help our company by enabling this MDM? And in that case, when we looked at the dashboard, the strategic answer was, yes, we think this is going to push sales growth by 20%. How's it going to do this? Answers. So having all this in place, that's when you move into differentiating yourselves. You now look like you know what you're doing. Unlike me, who couldn't get his CSV to work in his demo account. And so, but the point is this works. We have a number of clients using it. I just don't use it. Skip doesn't use it regularly because of the lack of an inventory to manage across many clients. We just use our dummy sets. But one of the questions I had for the group was, this is a strategic dashboard. Given the context I just gave you, what would a tactical dashboard look like? And would it be useful for driving client conversations? Or would it be something more of an internal conversation? So do you use this dashboard strategically to help your clients understand where they are? And then use a tactical dashboard when you're talking to your architecture or service teams about which assets need to be dealt with today. And so what does a tactical dashboard look like? Is it worthwhile to pursue in the management services platform? Is this something that would be useful? Would it help drive sales? Would it give your clients a better experience? What are your thoughts there, Skip?
You know, I do have to kind of, I feel, check myself and roll it back a little bit, because I get these conversations going. I'm like, you need to be talking strategically with your clients. If you're pulling out warranty reports, you're off topic. And, I get on this rant, it seems like, but then, the techie guy inside of me, kind of tries to reel me back in and go, hey, Skip, we're a technology company. If we don't deal with the technical and tactical, who's going to, right? So there's obviously a place, and it is a significant place that, we need to manage all this technical, tactical, ticket-based stuff. And I feel like sometimes I personally glaze over that, but I know it is an important part of what we do. So I am interested in this, in ways that we can bring all of this very valid, very relevant information into our portal so that it can be part of the conversation. We don't need to necessarily know, how many free DIM slots, right? I remember that was the coolest thing, because honestly, at one point I was with I was in my time in the corporate world, and we had upgrades coming out to software. The software wouldn't support our standard RAM deployment. So we needed to know which workstations can we upgrade. And at the time, and this was, early 2000s, we found a tool that would scan our devices and tell us how many free DIMM slots we had in a workstation. It was powerful. But when we sit down and talk to, the head of engineering, or even, within our IT group, the senior directors of IT management, did we really need to be talking about the number of free DIMM slots, or did we need to say, hey, we're gonna have to spend X amount of dollars on memory upgrades, period. All right, so it just, the information is great. We need to make sure that we don't overwhelm our clients with it, or that we don't take that great information and substitute it for a conversation. Yeah, so that's very, very important.
Yeah, and we have a number of people commenting right now. Nate is saying, yeah, there are enough dashboards. I'm not intimately familiar with them. I used ChangeGear, was my last ticketing system I was intimately familiar with. I spent ridiculous amounts of money developing in the corporate world. And it was nice, but we always ended up getting lost on the rabbit hole of creating cool reports that we never used, which leads me to where I am today, making useful things that actually provide value. And so, he says in MSPL doesn't have much place there unless the ingestion process can be automated. Yes, if you guys don't know me, hi, I'm Adam, and I am lazy. I do not like to import things manually. I do not like to do things manually. This dashboard shows up and it's pretty already. You can walk in, look like $1 million just by sitting here and doing this. So laziness, key virtue here. Laziness, hubris, and impatience for those of you who are not programmers. There's a comment from David saying there's no question that tactical conversation with the clients are often the introduction to getting them engaged in the longer term. Yeah, because sometimes you're right, David. The client is so used to being talked to as a tactical person, you kind of have to woo them into strategigic conversations. Because your janitor comes in and he's been cleaning your trash cans for the past 10 years. Then all of a sudden, as one of Skip's favorite examples is, your janitor comes in, has a better idea on how much money can be saved by swapping out light bulbs for LEDs, and what is a more efficient process for that, or how to save money using recycling programs. And you're like, just clean my trash. And but this janitor has these great ideas, and that building that trust model with them, you can lean into that or lead into it by having these tactical conversations like, hey, while we're here, let's talk through why replacing these PCs or moving to a managed PC platform is going to save you money. And you come over here to the strategic dashboard and say, hey, look, we think that you could increase sales by 20% by running a mobile device management project because we noticed that your guys work on the road a lot. We think that we can help you come to this better place where people can work from home and be more efficient. So it'll make you more money if you're running a mobile device management or a managed PC system where you're not constantly swapping out PCs when they break. So a broken PC gives you 3 days of downtime. Managed PC doesn't have that. Other question comment from Mike Giovanni. There are definitely times to have the tactical conversation, which is why you have a TAM, and they should be able to discuss that level with authority and have an understanding. So yeah, it's two sides of the coin. And my fear as a manager is that by creating a tactical dashboard, that as IT people, it's our crutch. We love talking tactics. We love talking how many DIMM slots are in my server. How much processing power do we have? And it's an easy thing for us to talk about because that's our world. And it's like the person who brags about their car, like how many horsepower it has and how many cylinders and, all these parts to their car. I'm like, well, that's a cool car. That's me.
Well, and to kind of hammer home a point on that, So you mentioned the DIMM slots again, and that really got me thinking. So when Cisco blades first came out, they had and they may still have, I've been out of it a little bit, but they had a blade platform that had just a ridiculous amount of memory slots in it. I mean, what was it, 16, 24? I mean, it was some, interval of that, but it was this huge number of slots in the server. And so from a technical perspective, I saw that as awesome. All right. And I remember we kind of had conversations with the client where we're talking about all these slots in there because we thought it was so cool. And the clients didn't care at all. But there was still a value. And what that was we had lots of options in implementing very cost-effective memory or resources within this server. So when the conversation shifted to, hey, Mr. Customer, we want to sell you this server, and you're going to have a lot of options in upgrading this in the future should your business grow. You want to add that accounts receivable package that requires a lot of extra resources in the server. We can do that at low cost for you. We can grow this server with your business. Those were the better conversations than going, oh my gosh, 24 slots for memory. How cool is that? They don't care. So it's all about the context.
Anybody who sat in the same room as me when an Apple keynote is going on will hear me just rant. Like, it's our fastest phone ever. It can do, and then they throw a bunch of numbers. Why? Because that's how you sell. And they've been doing the same presentation for like 15 years now. And it's like, I don't care. What can my phone do that it couldn't before? Like, give me something that enriches my life. Like, I had an iPhone 5S forever because I had my touch log on and it had good battery life and it did everything I wanted. I didn't switch until wireless charging became a thing, which happened like 4 years after Samsung came out with it. Now, don't get me into a battle there. Like, I fully admit the Samsung is the better phone, and Miles and Skip and I have this debate all the time. But the point is, like, what can I do with the technology you're going to bring to my desktop? So I'm with you. Nate said he's an original generation. Reframe your clients. I'm going to make some T-shirts that say the OGs, and I'm giving them out at conferences. If you can show me that you signed up for our RYC back in the day, you're going to get an OG shirt. And I'm all about strategy. I was able to develop. We started off about $30,000 a month, and there were just two of us doing just this dashboard here. This concept is all we did, except we were using whiteboards. That's crazy, people. We did no tactics, and that's how we got started. And we had some major clients. We had some big whales, as all startups do. And we had a bunch of little clients that did some great things. And we really were able to get that value and that validation because our clients were changing the way they were doing business because of strategic conversations that they wish they would have had 10 years ago. And so I started getting calls for people like, hey, can you fix our computers? I'm like, no, I can't. Like, please, we're desperate. I'm like, technically, I have the skill set.
Yep.
But that's not what we do. And I had to stay in my lane there. I was like, here's some MSPs I recommend, and I would refer them over. So when it comes to asset management, it's really easy to get lost in the weeds. I think there are some great things we could do in a managed services platform. I think there are some great ways to think tactically, but are we going to ever tell you how many DIMMs are in a server? That's not our lane.
Yeah.
Are we going to tell you all this stuff? No, that's why you have a PSA. They do a great job. Most of them do. And they're really good at what they do. Let them be good at what they do. Let the dashboard be good at what it does. But if there is an opportunity to help drive revenue and drive strategic conversations by extrapolating information from an asset inventory, such as, hey, in architecture, you marked that you didn't have managed PCs. Well, on the back end, there can be a tactical dashboard that says they have 60 PCs. If they were managed, they should save this much money. And it would just pull in that data. those are some of the things that get me thinking that a tactical dashboard might be worthwhile. But I'm right, as of today, I'm siding with Nate and saying this is most of what you need. Hey, proactive mobile web app UI. Interesting that you should say that, Nate. If you look at the dashboard on your phone, you will notice that it is mobile friendly. It's actually very pretty. So if you pull up this dashboard, any of you who already have if you're in the beta, if you pull up this dashboard on your phone, it's sexy. You can throw it up on a tablet or anything. It looks good. It reorients itself based upon the type of device you're on. So that when you're just sitting there in front of a client, you can just pull your phone out of your pocket, select your client, and show them what they look like. Or you can cast it up onto a device or whatever you want. And it looks fantastic. There's a reason we chose this layout, is because it is very portable. It's meant to be in a Zoom session like this, but it can easily be converted into a tablet or a mobile device or just a simple strategy. So that is where this dashboard went, Nate. So if you want to see how that looks, I'm happy to show you. Send me an email after this. Proactive alerting, keeping on track percent. So if reframe your clients 90 and CRM had a love child, then we're starting to get into the PSA world. And I would love to have, and I'm talking to, ConnectWise and a few others about this stuff. So you guys as a community can know this. Reframe your clients has been around for a while. So we have old relationships, and then there's these great new programs with ConnectWise and Autotask in them. And I'm working on moving the relationship up so we can do some of those cool things with tighter integrations. But yeah, I would love, one of the features I would love to the dashboard is over here. So for those of you who use 90 to manage your meetings, I would love a 90 style time box on the left here. And the way a time box works for you is that you click start on the top, and it starts the meeting, and it runs down, and then whoever you're presenting to knows that the timer is going, and you've got to stay on task. And it's a 60-minute meeting or a 90-minute meeting you can select. And by the end, you have to conclude. So when people are like trying to interrupt you with, hey, can you come look at my PC? I'm like, look, we'll get that during the IDS section of this meeting. So if we can, let me write a note down here and we can move down, or I'll put a note over here, or I'll put a note here, wherever you want to. So I would love a time box optional widget that somebody could turn on and off.
Those are
I love 90. Skip knows I love 90.
I like 90, and 90 is very good at getting things done, and I appreciate the effectiveness of that.
Yeah, if you struggle, or if your account managers struggle running meetings, go get 90. It's 90.io, NINETY.io, and it will change how you do meetings, because it is rigid. It's like, but also it keeps you on task. So we've been using it for 6 months now, and our meetings are so much more productive because of this nice little tool. And it's free for peer groups. It is a cost per account for other people. So, there is an opportunity there where you can tell a client, hey, we can have these strategic conversations, but we need to buy some strategic software that manages them for us. And then you do your dog and pony show. But having that built into the dashboard as a widget that you can pin open like you can on the reports might be something worthwhile to do here. These are all things where I need your guys' feedback. So this dashboard goes live for all new plan users on October 4th. So Monday, you'll start seeing it pop up on all of you who have new plans. You'll be able to see us on your mobile device, and I really want that feedback. So if it is just a waste of time to build a tactical dashboard like this, so be it. If there are things in this dashboard you want us to drive and make better, we've already had a couple improvement requests Skip made one improvement request, which is why this column is blank right now, because I'm working with the developers on something and I must have nuked it before the meeting. It's coming, Skip. I sent you a message. It's coming.
All right. That's all.
Have a solution. So next week,
Mm.
we might see our first actual improvement to the board based upon community feedback. Our Australian customers will be excited.
Yes, they will.
You know, this is going to make a lot of work for you.
I know. I already feel like I've
How many English-speaking countries do we have?
Broke the seal on it. Yes.
You broke the seal.
It's just now it's going.
For all of you on the call, have you ever done something to go the extra mile and then you get stuck under the bus doing it for the next year? Skip just did that to himself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
every damn day. Yes. I sidetrack story here. Number of years ago, there was a problem at a large corporate client I was working for. And I was in this SWAT team. Our goal was to solve whatever problem came up. Big company was having lots of outages, and they had to start doing NIST assessments. And so one of the big issues that came up was, because they were a government contractor, they had to deal with all of the vulnerabilities that Rapid7 was pushing out. And there was like 380,000 vulnerabilities that we had to deal with. And it was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to divide this up amongst a department of like 450 employees? That's how many people are in the IT department. And so I built the God mode of all pivot tables. And it imported, so Rapid7 would fire up these CSVs to SharePoint, and then I would link them to a God mode pivot table that would divide them then up by asset and type of vulnerability to all the teams. And I thought I was just saving myself time, but I didn't realize I just dug myself a nice little home in for a few months. So Skip has done this. This dashboard will evolve. So come Monday, when those of you who are on new plans see this dashboard pop up in your portal, tell me what you want improved. Tell me about the things that will make your life better, that will help you have more strategic conversations. So Nate, you've been with us since Reframe Your Clients. Think about that when you're using this. Look at the different things. What is going to help drive better conversations with your clients? How are you going to get there? Is there something, hey, if you could allow me to do X, that would make things better for me. If you could allow me to do Y, that'll make things better for me. And so we want to have these conversations so that the features that we put out in Q1 of 2022 are driven by things that you guys want. This isn't Adam and Skip's dog and pony show. We love this software. This is to get you started.
Yep.
I have big plans for where this dashboard is going, but if I don't get checked by you guys as members, if you don't give me the feedback, I'm just going to implement weird things. But if you can say, hey, you know, I could show this to my clients, it'd be a slam dunk. If I could do this for pre-sales with the dashboard, it'd be a slam dunk. Let me help you. Let me pour cash and pour the membership fees into development features that will empower you. And so give us that feedback. So for those of you who have not been playing with this yet, Monday, this is going to be in your plan. You'll see a button pop up in your dashboard if you are a new plan member. If you're a legacy, this won't pop up because you're not in the permissions group. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on the back end. So this little dashboard button here is going to pop up for all of you on new plans. If you need more help, reach out to us. Another little thing that's going to change, just so there's no confusion, is that this is going to turn into home. Because we've had people go, okay, which dashboard are we talking about?
Yeah.
So you should see that like in a week or so of this just icon just changing and it becoming home. And then this becomes dashboard. This stays as dashboard, and this is going to be available for you. So give us the feedback, reach out to us, help us help you. Is that how it works? Is that how it goes?
Hang on, Adam. I've got to close the loop because I'm anal retentive. So on the
Okay.
on the assets, our import error was because we did not have the type defined correctly. Our file that we were coming in with had workstation as type, but in managed service platform, we had it defined as workstations, plural. So you can either change your data set to represent that, or you have the option to define those client asset types here in your profile. Just simply list what you want with the appropriate singularity or plurality there, and that will make it work. Also, we've got some default costs in here. Another cool feature, if you want to get those quick numbers, hey, yes, I need to update and we need to replace all those workstations. That's right, they're old. We can plug some values in here, some things to make this very tactical, part of the conversation go a little bit faster, maybe automate a few things for you. Those are a few of the other back end the benefits of the assets. It is a new feature. Adam's right, he and I haven't played around with this much. So if you guys are working with this and you find some opportunities that you can say, hey, we could use this in a conversational manner if we do this, or some examples of how you're using the tool now, let me know. I like to hear about those, or work through ideas. I was on a call today with one of our members, and they're wanting to do some stuff, and he's got a really cool pricing model that he does. I'm impressed every time I hear him talk about it, but he needed some data out. And so we just walked through it, and sure enough, there was a feature in the tool that he just wasn't aware of. And so I showed him that, and it's going to give him what he wants. So, I'm glad to help you find those or build something. Just reach out to me at any time. I'm glad to help out there.
Yeah. And again, just remember, with this humanized element of managed services platform, it's all about community driven features and requests that are going to empower you. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. I want to get you out of the weeds.
There you go.
The famous story is a bunch of people are working on a road through the jungle, and they're paving, they're chopping down trees, and they're cutting a line. And one of the workers says, hey, let me climb a tree and make sure we're going in the right direction. So they climb the tree, and they look and see like, oh my gosh, we're totally going in the wrong direction. We're going north. We need to be going east. And he calls down to the workers down below, said, guys, we're going in the wrong direction. But they're like, hey, we're making great time.
Yeah.
That's IT in a nutshell, people. And I want to make sure managed services platform allows us to climb that tree and say, hey, client, do you know you could be reaching way, way more customers if you were doing X? If you weren't tying your employees down to PCs at their desks, if you were helping them be more mobile and being out there, if they were able to take payments on the spot rather than waiting for the invoice to come out. Different things like that, you guys can solve those problems, but only if you're allowed into the strategic conversations, and our software should allow you there. This dashboard, one of the things that I guarantee is going to happen with a number of you is you're going to walk in and show this dashboard, and your client's going to go, that's really cool. Hey, let me go get Bob. Well, who's Bob? Oh, he's the CEO. He loves this stuff. Oh, now you've attracted in the CEO without changing anything.
Yep.
So reach out, give us a call, send us emails. We always go up for chatting. If you want to be in a Slack channel, reach out to me. I have my Slack channel. I'm on it all day. And I'm looking forward to everybody's feedback as this goes live.
All right.
Everything, Skip?
That's it.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
See ya.